from where you at. I came here for vengeance, watch your back. No need to defend, I'm on attack. Sorry they can't reply, but I guarantee they had a blast. Pop, 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 I be on the next only, yeah, I am fresh to death.
Good morning, everyone. So, the last video you saw was on a Tuesday. Today is a Saturday. What happened between Tuesday and Saturday? I got sick. So a little bit before going to the tattoo, I started to notice that my nose was a little runny, my throat was scratchy, and I chalked it up to allergies. It was not. I said in the last video that I thought I was maybe getting sick, and turns out I was. I'm gonna make my coffee. I don't use the pot side because it broke, and because I've been drinking a lot less caffeine here recently. I said that the other day, so I'm not going to touch on that again. But this is my second cup. I woke up, chilled for a little bit, and then went ahead and knocked out 20 minutes of cardio. So I woke up Wednesday morning sick. Wednesday is always a rest day, so I wasn't going to the gym, and I don't typically do cardio on Wednesdays. I did still get my steps in, took the dog out, got some vitamin D from the sun, got a little bit of movement. It helps a little bit for sure. Wednesday and Thursday I felt the worst. I felt terrible. Luckily it didn't affect my stomach, so I stayed on diet the whole time. I didn't miss any meals. I stuck exactly to my meal plan as it's written for rest days. And that's what I'm going to do again today. So I don't really see a reason to just keep going through my meals and stuff right now. And I'm not lifting today. I'm literally going to be sitting here at the house, either watching TV or playing Battlefield 6. So as glamorous as that sounds, it's not fun. Obviously, if I have client questions and things like that, I will answer those. But Saturdays I don't have check-ins for because either I'm traveling on the weekends, I'm usually going down to Houston, I have my son with me, and it's a lot more difficult to do these check-ins when I have him, or it's a show weekend, which I just want to put as much energy into the client that I'm working with at that time as I possibly can. Obviously, there's a lot of lulls and that kind of thing, but it just makes it easier if I don't have to cycle people around. So Saturday and Sunday are days off of check-ins. I still do work. Sunday, I take off completely. So tomorrow is a complete, well, the last 4 days have been a complete chill day, but Sunday's usually my complete chill day. What I am going to do today is going to do what I was planning on doing on Wednesday, just minus my check-in. I didn't check in this weekend. I didn't take pictures. Probably should have, just to kind of have the changes and whatnot, but I felt terrible. So you're going to give me a pass on that one. I'm going to go through my diet, my supplements. I'm going to go through all that stuff today so that you guys have an idea of what it is that I'm doing. And that will be the whole video, so I don't see this one being super, super long. After that last video, I finished my coffee, and then I took the dog on a WALK and got that done. We didn't go on the same length walk that we normally do first thing in the morning. He started to pull me back to the house, so I think he was hot. And then I was starting to get a little bit hypo, so I decided to come home and eat just a little bit early. I wasn't going like really hypo, but I could feel the onset coming. So I figured, why not just save myself some time and go ahead and get some food in me. So like I said, got sick Wednesday morning. Wednesday, Thursday, yesterday, first 2 days I was really sick. Yesterday I was just really, really tired. Today I feel a lot better. Still testing positive, unfortunately, but during that time, I still stuck to my diet. I still did 20 minutes of cardio fast in the morning, and every day except for Friday, I've hit my steps. So I've still been getting myself up, moving around, getting some sun, doing some cardio, keeping my body moving because I want to keep blood flowing, keep everything flowing through the system so that everything that needs to do its job immune system-wise can get to where it needs to go and just instead of being stagnant and things sitting around, moving some blood is always a good idea. Now, if my stomach had been upset or I had had any problems with my stomach, I would not have forced anything because a lot of your immune system is in the digestive tract. So if it's already irritated just from being sick, just putting more food in there is probably only going to inflame it more. And then I would just eat kind of as I was hungry. So now what I want to do is go through my whole plan as far as mostly focus on nutrition and the supplement protocol. I'll touch on my workout, but it's been the same stuff, and you guys are going to see it in the videos. And there's been some slight deviations and slight changes to the program from what it's actually listed as, but it's all minor, either exercise equipment changes or pattern changes or something like that. So training days and rest days is what I have food wise. So right now I haven't really moved into an aggressive carb cycle. I've pretty much been doing this for the last 6 to 8 weeks, in about 6 to 8 weeks at this amount of food, trying to lock things in, dialing things in, getting myself weighing food and stuff more. Prior to this, it was still the same structure food wise, but I wasn't measuring as consistently. I was having more off plan meals, that sort of thing. So, the total calories on my training days are 3,500 and rest days are 3,100. So I'm eating a good bit of food. The breakdown there is 255 grams of protein, 418 grams of carbs, and 82.8 grams of fat. So almost 83 grams of fat. And that breaks down into 4 meals. Okay. My first meal of the day is a little bit more heavier on the protein side of things. And the last one, the macros, like I feel like a lot of people are like, I have to do this amount of protein in every meal and this amount of carbs and this amount of fats. It's going to vary. Things are going to go up and down. It's the total at the end of the day that matters. And then if there needs to be more fine tuning to that macro system based on response, you can do that. So you can make things a little bit more level, but expect that there's always going to be a variance of like 1 to 5 grams of whatever macro you're looking at, depending on, like, you're not going to eat the same exact food source at every meal, and I wouldn't suggest it. So the first meal that I've been doing here recently has been the one that you've seen: 2 large eggs, 1 scoop of hydro, 100 grams of oats, 200 grams of blueberries, 25 grams of honey, and 25 grams of peanut butter. So that is typically my first meal of the day on training days. And then rest days, the only difference is that it is 80 grams. It's supposed to be 85 grams. I've been doing 80, but 85 grams of oats. Everything else is exactly the same as far as food sources are concerned. So 100 grams of carbs on rest days, 110 on training days. And then I have post-workout. So this is meal 2. That's just replaced by a different meal on rest days. So post-workout is the 2 scoops of hydro that you've seen me have at the gym, 120 grams of cream of rice, and 100 grams of peaches. If I need to adjust this and do a different type of fruit, just based on like what flavor cream of rice I decide to do that day, some of the fruits don't go as good with certain flavors, I'll just swap this out and I'll get about this amount of grams of carbs in fruit, about 120 grams of cream of rice plus some fruit source. The difference on rest days is that meal is 150 grams of chicken, 200 grams of rice, 15 grams of Kerrygold butter, veggies, and then 200 grams of watermelon. Again, if I want some other type of fruit source, I will just swap it here. So 74 grams of carbs on rest days, 104 grams of carbs on training days. And there's no added fats to this meal. There are added fats on this meal. So my fats are higher, my carbs are lower on training days or rest days. And that's the main difference as far as the macro breakdown, but the calorie breakdown puts me definitely in a deficit. The meal 3 is the wraps that I've told you guys about that I've been doing, the high fiber wraps. Training days, 130 grams of chicken breast, 200 grams of rice, 2 of those tortillas, 40 grams of goat cheese, vegetables, and then a fruit source. I don't typically do water, like the watermelon was on the rest day food. So this is on meal 3 here. And then the difference on rest days is it's 120 grams of rice and then only 100 grams of fruit or 5 grams of carbs on that meal. So That's the variation there. And then my last meal is the creamy that I've talked to you guys about. Fairlife milk, Labrada Hydro. The Andes dark chips have replaced dark chocolate chips for the time being. The Rice Crisp, rice cake things, and then some fruit with that meal on training days. And then on rest days, there's no fruit. So yeah, no fruit and a little bit less Rice Crisps. Rice Crisps. Jeez. So 75 grams on that. But that is the diet. So for now, this is moving in a really positive direction. So obviously, I have been on rest day foods for the last 4 days in a row. If I come over to my daily habits, which I will explain, you'll see that I've weighed myself every day. Both this day, this was like I got sick Tuesday night, woke up sick Wednesday morning, stayed on rest day food this whole day. Woke up at the same weight Thursday, and then Friday it went up. But the thing is that I did not weigh myself before cardio or water. I drank a good bit of water and I did cardio, so this number is going to be a little bit skewed. And based off today's weight, which was 233.8, I assume that this was probably closer to in the 234 range. If I had done it just fasted, so I doubt that there was a 2-pound drop from Friday to Saturday. It's definitely possible. It's not out of the question, but I think it was probably a little bit less of a drop, but still a drop because of the multiple rest day meals. I've had 4 liters of water every day. I've gotten 10 minutes of sun every day. Obviously, I'm not filming anything, but these days I did. I've done cardio these days, at least half on these 2 days. I did 20 minutes. Just not trying to overinflame my system. I've hit my steps except for this day. Very little bit under there. Stress spiked while I was sick, but it's been on the come down. Strength was obviously 0 while sick. Hunger has been fairly average, so right in the middle. Recovery, same. Energy was pretty low. And then I need to get in the habit of doing this again. So we can see that like today's weight, like I said, was 233.8. So we can see that being on rest, it's definitely in a deficit for me here. And then when I'm on the training day food, I hold 234 to 235 relatively easily. So it's at a maintenance amount of food, which is exactly what I want to see. So I have a deficit on my rest days, and then I have a maintenance or slightly above maintenance on training days, but not so much that my body is like I'm super putting it super compensating carb wise. My brain, good grief. So all that I will end up doing after this week, which I'm going to stick to this same structure all of next week because I need to see how that data changes with my typical 4 days of training a week and the 40 minutes of cardio that I put in, because I'm kind of expecting with the peptide program that I started, I am probably not going to need to make drastic adjustments on my food off the rip. I think I can probably stick around this amount of food for at least 4 weeks before I'll have to change anything. We'll see. We'll just have to see how the peptides respond and how my body goes through that. So the workout program, it's a 4-day-a-week program. You guys have already seen some of the training and stuff. I do legs on Monday, chest focus push on Tuesday, Thursday, I do pull. Friday, I do a shoulder focused push. So I'm definitely more focused on my upper body right now than I am my lower body. This 4-day-a-week program has been working great for me for quite some time. I've been doing this for a number of years now, and it allows me a lot of variability in whatever movements I want to do, or the whatever amount of volume or intensity I want to do. I can modulate my recovery very, very easily with 4 days a week. Gives me 3 rest days that I can move around, interchange whatever I want. And it's all very simple stuff. So all very simple movements, nothing insane here. I'm actually doing a good bit more volume than I used to in the past. Especially on my upper body stuff, and not going as crazy to failure. So I'm not just brutalizing myself in there. I've been doing a lot more like what people would deem pump work. So I am doing a lot of stuff where, like, especially on my single joint movements, like rear delts and side delts and pec flies and that kind of thing. I'll do my warm-up sets, and then my first set will be a 15 plus rep set. really get a good pump, really get a good squeeze on that, push a lot of blood into that area, and just feel that burn so that I can go into whatever next compound movement I have and really feel connected with that muscle. I've noticed that just since not being a competitor anymore, hormone profile being a little bit lower, food being a little bit lower, that kind of thing, this just allows me to recover better. Plus, I enjoy my training a lot better that way. I'm not as strong as I used to be, so like not hitting those same types of weights with the all-out crazy, insane intensity sets. It's honestly a little bit more like, man, that kind of sucked over like, oh, this feels good. So that's what I've been leaning into is like, what feels good right now? And it's been working. So not going to focus too much on that. And then supplementation wise, everything is very, very simple here. Everything is not complex at all. I'm actually not taking a multivitamin, so I probably should start doing that. But I am taking Revive Omega, Revive D3 and K2, glutamine, creatine, magnesium. I've also got a bunch of like organ things like liver and kidneys, cholesterol stuff, heart health stuff, mostly just health related things that I just haven't added into this because I'm just going to keep using them. I don't really need to like have them in a sheet. Like I just order them every month and they show up and I just continue to take them. So I'm not really like listing it out on here. The main thing for me is just going to be manipulating my program as far as super supplements are concerned. So going through this, the biggest thing is that I'm going to focus more on peptides and that sort of thing because I'm curious to see what they can do in a state where like you're not really super anabolic. You're not taking a bunch of stuff. I want to see how it works on me with a very mild cycle. So I am taking testosterone at 100 milligrams a week. That's yes, per week, 100 milligrams. And then I've been having some issues with the Masteron shortage. Some of the stuff I got was spiked with DHEA, which is where my DHEA problem came from. So I had some old EQ in my bag of goodies from over the years, and these were still fine. Obviously, these are from a while ago, so I know that there's nothing spiked in them, and like I don't know that anybody is faking equipoise anyways. So started that. I'm taking that at 120 milligrams a week. Now, with 100 milligrams of testosterone, I've been in the 100 to 140 range for the last almost year. Every time I have gotten lab work, I have been 1,000 plus on my testosterone. It has been completely fine. My sex drive is great. My recovery is great. My strength is good. I'm mentally clear. Everything feels really good. Organ health is great. So that has been sustaining me really well. And that's all I need. I don't need anything excessive anymore. I did try to push some stuff a while back. I went test Primo and Mast. That was also when the Mast had DHEA in it. So I didn't get to run that for too long. And part of the issue that I was having while running that the little bit higher cycle is I just got really aggressively anxious, having panic attacks and all that kind of stuff. So is it the androgen load? Is it the DHEA? Is it a combination of the both? Probably. And then so those are going to be in just to make sure recovery is good and get a little bit of extra response there. The testosterone, I will probably end up bumping up. The EQ, I'll probably keep where it is because the EQ does have affinity to reduce estrogen levels. At this amount, my estrogen's been fine, so I will probably have to bump the testosterone to level out the equipoise, but I'll do that over the weeks to come, and I'm not going to go super high with it. But right now, everything feels great. I've been about 2 weeks into that, I started it this week, actually. So started it this week. Everything feels really good. Nothing's really in my system yet. And then Wednesday, the day I got sick, all of my peptides from Authentic Aminos showed up. So I've been playing around with a number of different peptides. I've tried a lot: Simax, Silank, DSIP, methylene blue. It's not really a peptide, but it's in that world. Obviously, BPC, TV500, GHK copper. The list just goes on, right? But I tried a bunch of the different fat burning peptides, and I tried them individually.
just to see what the type of response was, how I felt on it, what look did I get out of it, what did I have to change. I didn't change anything other than just introducing, like I'd run one peptide at a time and then I'd switch, and then I'd run one peptide at a time and I'd switch, all while keeping food the same, all while keeping training the same. I was still doing cardio. So just wanted to kind of play around with them and see what kind of responses I would get. And then I decided for this cut, I wanted to try a couple and run some that I hadn't tried and see how my body responds to multiple. So retatrutide has been something I've been using with clients, seen great response as far as keeping food noise to a minimum. The other thing that I've seen is improving A1Cs and cholesterol levels, which I could improve both of those in my lab work. And then it's great fat burning, so wanted to give that a shot. AOD, which is supposed to be fairly similar to like HGH frag, it just kind of helps liberate fat from the cell to be used as energy. And then SLU PP332. It always sounds so weird saying the whole name, SLU PP332. It's just like, where do they come up with these things? But the SLU is an exercise mimetic, so it binds to estrogen-like receptors and gives us your body gets an exercise response where when you take it, your body feels like it is exercising. So you can get calorie burn when you're not really doing anything. Interesting. I want to try it. I had used it in the past. I'd gone up to 750 micrograms, really liked it. I sweat a lot on that product, and noticed that I got leaner without changing my food, which was really nice. I'm pretty happy about that. So what I'm doing now is trying a little bit higher because I have seen some people talking about that. I want to test it out and see, just so I can understand what the body does at a little bit higher doses. So instead of, I was doing 250 and 250 before, I did eventually bump it up to 500 and 250, so 750 micrograms total. This time I'm doing 500 and 500, so 1 milligram a week, or 1 milligram a day, sorry. So I take it first thing in the morning fasted, before my fasted cardio and before I go walk the dog in the morning. And then I'll take it, I have it listed as pre-workout in my plan, but what I do is because I take my fasted products around 7 a.m. and then I go work out at 11. So it's a relatively short couple of hours. So I'd like for the first half of it to still be rolling for a bit. And what I'll do is towards the latter half of my workout, like my lifting, I'll take that second dose before I go to cardio. So it's more pre-cardio than it is anything else. So that, and then AOD, I take that just in the morning fasted, seems to work best that way. And I just take 500 micrograms. So just starting pretty low on all these things. I've already noticed the difference. Like I said, I started to feel like the symptoms of hypo wanting to set on, just getting a little bit lightheaded, and not lightheaded bad, but just like starting to notice it a little bit. So that's all I'm going to be doing during this. That's going to escalate or de-escalate as needed based on how my body is reacting and responding. But this is going to be very minimal changes on supplements. I don't really change a whole lot of things. For someone in prep, that definitely more compounds would get added. Whatever we needed to use in order to get the response that we were after is what we would do. But for me, not getting on stage and just looking to get as lean as I can, I'm curious to see what I can do and how little I can actually do. So that's the whole program there. I feel like that's a pretty good breakdown of everything. Obviously, I'm going to be going into more detail in more videos, but that's it for this day. I'm going to be continuing to eat the rest day foods that I already listed out. It's going to be relatively boring, so I'm not going to record anything else today. But hopefully, guys, you are enjoying this, and I'm really excited to see what I can do with this peptide cycle and just getting myself back into a good calorie deficit. So we'll catch you on the next day.